evening, Mrs. Bonnie Bishop.
Good evening.
How do you want that we call you? Bonnie Bishop? BB?
Bonnie B.
It's very nice.
I'll answer to any of those.
Like I said, it's up to me, a Belgian boy, Belgian guy, to welcome you here in Holland, in Utrecht.
Thank you.
We are from Belgium. We are Dutch people, so we speak the same language as in Holland, but we are different.
Yes.
Be sure about that. But you must, before we start, you must tell us a story about Belgium. But
okay, I will.
you told us a little bit, but not enough.
Not enough.
You made us curious.
Curious,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was Belgian. She just passed away in August. Her name was Maria de Bakker.
De Bakker, that
She
sounds
was
very
born
familiar.
in Ghent, and when she was 10, she and her mother moved to Antwerp, and she was in Antwerp, which I guess she was 14 when World War II started, and she and my
all the soldiers
yeah,
came.
yes.
Yeah.
And but she was my great grandfather was a baker, and he had a bakery, and my great grandmother made vests, and after the war started, he couldn't get his chocolate or sugar, things like that, so they would ride their bikes to Holland and smuggle all the stuff under her skirt, and she had all these great
butter
stories.
That you need.
All the butter,
yeah.
So when the war was over and the Americans marched into Antwerp to liberate the Belgians from the Nazis, my grandpa, Murray Bro from Louisiana, was with the American soldiers. And he came in and they had a dance in the few weeks after the end of the war. And all the young girls came to the dance and put on their nice, hose, pantyhose and their skirts and dresses. And he walked up to my grandmother, didn't know her, tapped her on the shoulder, asked her to dance. And she spoke no English whatsoever. She spoke French and Flemish and a little bit of German.
Loved it the rest.
And they fell in love on the dance floor and couldn't speak to each other. Got married after, I think it was about 6 months, 5-6 months. And she had to go through all of this interrogation with the American military to make sure she wasn't a spy, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so they got married, and then he had to go back to the U.S. first, and then she took a boat, it was like a 3-week boat, with a bunch of other war brides to New York, and then they put her on a train, and she went down to Louisiana, and she arrived in Louisiana, which is in the southern part of the United States. It's very hot, and it's very rural, a lot of country people, and my grandpa was very country, complete opposite of her. And she had never seen him outside of his uniform and never been alone with him because my great-grandmother chaperoned them on all of their dates. Didn't trust her with this American soldier. I don't blame her. So when she got off the train in Louisiana, she was wearing wool stockings and a 3-piece suit, gloves and a hat. And it was 100 degrees, 105 degrees in the middle of the summer in the United States. And so they still couldn't speak to each other. He spoke no other language than English, he was more like Cajun. It wasn't really even English, but so she learned how to drive, how to cook, and how to speak the language once she came to America. And they were married for 51 years, and my mother's first generation American. And so and she brought my great-grandparents over shortly afterwards. So my I also knew my great-grandparents. They never spoke English. They never learned the language. So I grew up hearing Flemish only, and the 3 of them would speak Flemish. And they were just incredibly resilient, strong, loving people. And she just passed away last month at 96. And she would love that I was sitting here speaking with Belgians about, my music. I think she would find that so incredible.
Great story.
It is great.
Great story.
We were very, very close. She's a wonderful.
Unbelievable that we can interview somebody with the roots.
I know.
Roots in Antwerp and Flanders.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's an honor to just be here and know that just to walk where she was and to see that.
That's one story, but what do we have to know about, in a nutshell, about Bonnie Bishop? How did you became not working in a bakery in a bakery?
Well, I can't bake. That's why.
Why did you want to become a musician? Was it also because of your family or
no,
something in?
No, I started singing when I was very young, like 5. I knew that I could sing, and I was in choir in school, and then I was trained classically. I was just had a lot of natural singing talent, and going into college, I was thinking I would study opera because I had that kind of training.
Because you could
I was
sing,
very good at it. Yeah, I
yeah.
had like a 4-octave range. It was freakish, and but I didn't like opera. I felt bored. Felt like I'm going to be singing other people's songs that other incredible singers have done for 500 years, and I'm always going to be competing with somebody else. So I started writing my own songs when I was about 21, and I was living in Texas at the time. From Texas, and I was in Austin, which is an incredible, group of musicians that live there and make a living playing live. And I saw people making a living playing live music, and not big stars, just people that play 200 dates a year and they just work. And I saw that and I thought, well, I can do that. So that was 18 years ago. I put a band together. I've put so many bands together and made 8 records over the last 2 decades and just never quit.
One of your idols, we already know that was Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt.
And the other influences, the other persons that you look upon, or that?
Oh, I have a lot. Well, I loved all the soul music, Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding. Growing up, I listened to a lot of it, Motown. Yeah. And then I love Joe Cocker, James Taylor, Carole King, kind of all of that stuff. Carole King, I think, is one of the most incredible songwriters. And then when I started writing songs as I got older, I got into Patty Griffin and Daryl Scott, Buddy Miller, like people like that. And Bonnie was always somebody that I loved her singing and looked up to her, and it was really a fluke that she ended up recording one of my songs.
You told us tonight she sings one of your songs.
Oh yes, 2. She's recorded 2 of my songs.
But
she's recorded all my saddest stuff. The most sad songs, those are the ones that she's recorded.
She has the voice to sing.
Yeah, she's good at that stuff. So.
At a certain moment, was it an easy way to become a musician?
Hell no.
Hell.
No,
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Not easy.
It's easy to dream of being a musician.
You wanted to go too fast, or what was the problem?
I think that, I think unrealistic expectations. When I started out at 21, 22, you see people on TV that are at this level, and you think, oh, that is success.
That's me.
A bus and money and all this stuff, and then you realize that 95% of working musicians are actually traveling in a van and just doing 150 to 200 dates a year. And I think that the first 10 years of my career, I thought I was getting to some other place. I thought I was, this was all about a means to an end. And then I realize now, as when you decide you're going to be an artist and you make the commitment to make music and make real music, you agree to sacrifice financial security and things. Like most musicians I know don't own their own home. It's hard to have a family and be gone 200 days a year and things like that. So I think as I've gotten older, I've just been able to appreciate the fact that this is what I get to do for a living. It's not as glamorous maybe as the brochure said it was going to be. We don't travel on a bus. We don't play to 20,000 people a night. Sometimes we play to 30 people a night. And but for me, the joy is that I write a song that means something to me, and then it means something to these other people, and you create these connections, with strangers all around the world, and your music becomes a soundtrack for their life, and to me that's the reward, knowing that you did something honest and authentic that was from you, and it connected with other people.
At this moment, you feel good.
I feel really good.
Yeah.
I feel great. Like this last record that we made.
Yes, that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to go to your last record.
Yes.
It's called The Walk.
The Walk.
Do you want to tell us something with the title?
Yeah, sure.
Is it a way that you're doing, or something that you've reached?
The walk is about the walk of life.
The walk of life.
So
yes.
we all are on a journey. We don't know how long we have. We will never have all the answers, but we spend our life kind of journeying through the ups and downs of life. And you know, there's a song on the record called "Every Happiness Under the Sun," which is about being grateful. You know, that even, you know, because all times in life are not the beautiful high mountaintop moments. A lot of them are, you're in the valley, they're dark. You don't know what's happening, you're scared, you don't know what to expect. Maybe you've suffered the loss of a loved one, or your job, or your dreams didn't work out the way you thought. And it's the whole idea of, you know, that we as humans are just continuing to evolve, you know, as an individual and as a human race, and just that this journey that we're on is this walk of life, and we're all kind of on that journey, taking that,
Yeah.
you know, that walk together.
Is that why, or someone wrote on your Facebook, the fact that the album is done is a miracle?
Yes.
I read that on, maybe it's not your own, but somebody has written that down. It's a miracle that the
Yeah.
album is done.
Well, I would say that is true because there's several small miracles, right? The fact that you make the choice to continue to make music and put it out into the world. I think that there have been times in my career where I was very disappointed by the music business and felt very unseen or unsupported, and times that I wanted to quit. And I keep coming back to making music because I think it's important and it means something to me. And this album especially, you know, not just coming back and making the record, but the person that produced it and worked on it. Steve Jordan.
I named Dave Cobb.
No.
No.
That was the last record, was Dave Cobb.
Oh.
Ain't Who I Was, which was produced.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the last record I did was produced by Dave Cobb. This record was produced by an incredible drummer named Steve Jordan.
Oh, that's my confirmation.
Who
Okay.
toured with John Mayer for years. He produced several John Mayer records. He played with the Keith Richards. He was in the original Saturday Night Live band. He played with, I think, James Brown. Just incredible. I have wanted to work with Steve for probably 10 years because of the way his drums sounded on John Mayer's Continuum record. That record had a big influence on me. So trying to get to Steve, and actually getting to Steve, is a big miracle part of the story. It took a year and a half just to get him to listen to the songs, because I had to get my friend to call so-and-so who knew his lawyer, who was friends with blah blah. So it was all these people trying to get my music in front of Steve because I just wanted to work with him so bad. So then, you know, once we finally got together, he had 5 days in his schedule that we could fly to New York and make a record. So we just had to drop everything we were doing and get to New York and make the record in those 5 days. And so I would say the miracles of this record are that, you know, Steve Jordan, you know, was willing to work with somebody he'd never heard of because he loved those songs so much. He was like, I really believe in you and what you're doing, and I want to help you make this record.
After what we got this evening, the reactions were great, so everybody was enjoying it.
Thank
so
you.
it was
Thank you.
Great.
It's fun to play. It's really fun to play. And a lot of that, you know, the songs are very deep. If you read the lyrics, the songs are very personal, and they have so much to do with the struggles that I've been through with depression and, you know, just human stuff. We all just go through those valleys. But I wanted to work with Steve because as a drummer, he comes up with these awesome beats and grooves. And I thought, if I can get him to create beats and grooves along with these really heavy lyrics, then the songs won't sound sad. That was really important. So it was very much of a collaboration, you know, the things I wanted to say, and then he helped me deliver them in a way that, you know, when you listen to that music, it makes you want to dance. Like, you just can't stop but the lyrics themselves are extremely deep, you know, thought-provoking.
Like we said, a great drummer and a great guitarist, so great band.
Yeah, it's a great band.
Great band.
Yeah, that's my boyfriend playing guitar. He's pretty great too.
It's not your first album, no.
My
no.
eighth.
7 or 8, I
Eight.
think. 8.
Eight.
How different are the albums when you compare it through the years? Can you say the last ones are
So different. I would say
more about me or more about?
Well, the first records were country.
Oy.
My first couple of records sound like country.
That's what I told Freddie.
Yes.
What was she singing? I think country.
No, not at all. I look like wearing my cowboy boots. No, it's funny because I'm categorized as a folk singer on iTunes. They call me folk music. And people get this record and they're like, this is not folk music, this is not country music. But yeah, I mean, my first 3 records that I made in Texas, in 2002, 2004, 2006, they were country records.
What did you?
I just kept growing, as an artist. It's like I was in Texas, I grew up in Texas, so I'm around country music.
That's normal.
So it just kind of was in my ears. And then as but I grew up listening to Motown when I was younger. So it's like, when I started writing music, I think I wrote country music because that was the market I was living in, and I was influenced by it. But I always had a heart for the soul music, but I couldn't play an instrument when I started. I couldn't play guitar, I couldn't play piano. So I would write the songs, and I heard the melody in my head, and then I would have to sing the melody to a musician, and they have to figure out what the chords were. So a lot of times, like, the music was lost in translation from my head to another person. So then I taught myself to play guitar, and I taught myself to play piano. So that kind of evolved. That helped me evolve, And then I moved to Nashville in 2008, and I started writing with other people. I wrote with Big Al Anderson a lot, incredible guitar player from NRBQ, if you're familiar with that band. And I started writing with a piano player named Jimmy Wallace. And Jimmy and I wrote all the songs on my 2012 record, 2016 record. And so, just collaborating with different people, I think helped me evolve. And I continue to evolve. Like, this record sounds nothing like any record I've ever made before at all. It's not country, it's not soul, it's not rock. I don't think you can even really put a category on what this record is. It's just it's a collaboration of my singing, my songs, Steve Jordan's drums, Ryan's guitar, and
I think it's Bonnie Bishop.
It's just Bonnie Bishop. Yeah.
There was one song that I had marked, but you already told us the story about the women at the well. That was a true story, what you told us.
Well, the story is, the story in the Bible about the woman at the well.
I tried to find out about what the well.
So in the Bible, there's a story about a woman who was alone at the well. Yeah, she's getting her water. Because that was the custom, that the women would come collect the water, and she was there at noon. The hottest time of day. And Jesus comes over to the well, and he asks her for water, and she gives him water, and he asks her, why are you there by yourself? And she says, basically she's been shunned from society because she's had many husbands, and she has a loose reputation, all these things.
She's a lucky one.
She's considered a whore, So you don't have to edit that. I mean, it's in the Bible, right? You can read it anywhere. But anyways, so we were we were laughing about the story because I said, well, she was there at the well by herself because she didn't want to be around all the other women that came in the morning because they'd be talking shit about her behind her back. Right, you have girls gossiping, and so she didn't want to be around them. So we wrote a song for all the women, we'd say all the sluts and whores out there who are tired of bitches talking about them behind the back. But the idea is that, like, we all have a past. You have a past, you have a past, you have a past. And you do things through your life that maybe you're not real proud of. No. But you change, you evolve, you forgive yourself, you become a better person. And it's really hard, to continue to evolve. And then you run into people that you knew 20 years ago, and they're like, oh yeah, I know her. And it's like, you don't know me, bitch. Like, you don't know who I am. You knew who I was 20 years ago. But so it's really about forgiveness It's about letting go of what other people think about you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say this song's for all the women at the well who are
Women
tired
at
of
the
the
well.
bitches talking about them behind their back.
It's a great song.
Thanks.
Bonnie, I can say that you are rather young when you compare it with the old guys here on the table.
I'm right behind you. I'm 40. I just turned 40.
But I think you must have a lot of open items on, I call it always the bucket list, things that you once want to do.
Absolutely.
Do you have still open items that you...
Tons.
Musically, not private?
It's really shows. Like there's a lot of festivals.
Maybe people that you want to join
to
or
work with.
to work with or to...
And I've worked with so many great people. You know, I would love to sing a duet with Bonnie Raitt sometime. I would love that.
And you think that's possible?
We're friends, so
No, that's why, because she likes it.
Yeah. That would be a bucket list moment. I would love to, there's several festivals that I would love to play, you know, like some great festivals in the US and some great places over here, you know.
You like to come to Europe?
I love coming to Europe. I love the food.
I often ask that to American artists. Do you feel differences between the public in Europe and the public
Yeah.
in...
Well, I was telling you earlier, I think one of the big differences that I see with people who come to see music in Europe, they don't have to know anything necessarily about you before they come to the show. You know, they'll go check out a new artist just to check it out for themselves. You seem to have very individual music tastes, whereas where we come from in America, it's more of a popularity contest. You know, when your name is out there, when people know who you are, then people come to see your show. But I find that the music, people that come to our shows in Europe have never heard of us, but they're curious. They're curious and they love music enough to say, yeah, I'll go check out that show and try it out. And I think that's incredible. To me, those are the kind of people that I want to play for. You know.
I have some last questions.
Okay.
Do you have also free time that you're not doing
a little
outside music?
A little, yeah.
Roller skating? No. Jogging?
Really
Jogging? Oh, yeah, I don't know. But
I do jog. I work out a lot, but I'm writing a book. So my stepfather, was a very famous football coach in America, American football.
Something about his life.
College football, yeah, about our life growing up, because our family was very well known growing up, and so there was a lot of funny stories. We grew up in a very small town, and he was very well known, and so you know everything that we did was basically, you know, people in town would talk about because we were the football coach's kids. And so there's funny stories about that. And then just, he had me, I don't know if any of this is going to translate to Flemish, but the football coaches, all right, I'll put it this way. So, you see the football field?
Yeah.
You have the coaches that stand on the field.
Yeah.
And then you have the coaches in the press box, right?
Yeah.
So the coaches on the field wear headsets so that they can talk and communicate with the coaches up here.
I don't think that in Belgium
this is American. In American football, you have coaches on the field and you have coaches in the box. So in the olden days, before everything was wireless, the headsets had these long 50 yards of cord, and all the coaches had what was called a cord carrier. A person who followed them on the field and kept up that 50 yards cord. That was me from my dad. Yeah. So from age 13 to age 20, I was on the football field.
Yeah, on the field.
Big games. I'm talking 60,000 people in the stands. Big SEC football games. These were the biggest football games going on in America at that time. And I didn't, you know, my dad invited me down there when I was a 13-year-old girl and didn't really know anything about football, and he did that, right, had me come down there and work in the action because he wanted me to be tough. So I was the only girl down there on the sidelines. I got run over like several times. Like I would be not paying attention, like the game's going on here, and I'd be turned around, you know, looking in the stand or looking at my nails, and I wouldn't be paying attention, and the play, you know, the ball would come to the sidelines and all the football players would run, and I got completely run over on the sidelines several times. And I always tell people that that's how I think I learned to survive in the music business, is because I got my ass kicked on the sidelines with football as a young person. And my dad taught me, you know, when I would get hurt or fall down or whatever, he wouldn't reach down and help me up.
No.
He would look at me and say, you need to get up on your own. Yeah. And I think that is a lot of the resilience and the stubbornness that made me never quit at music. Because, you know, I don't care who you are, if you go into the music business, you're going to get a lot of rejection, a lot of doors, you know, slammed in your face. And you have to be very thick-skinned, you know. And I think that that had a big influence on me, him looking me in the eye and always reminding me, you have to take care of yourself, you have to get back up on your own. And he would always say, it's not how many times you fall down in life, it's how many times you get back up. And that's so right. I feel like I've made a career of getting back up.
So the last question will be an easy one. Do you have any regrets by being a musician like you're now?
My only regrets are that I didn't keep up my piano lessons that my mom got me when I was a little girl. Because I started playing piano when I was 10, but I only played for like a year or two, and then I never touched it again until I was 30. So as regrets, I wish that I had practiced more. I wish that I had worked harder to develop as a musician, as opposed to trying to get somewhere in the music business. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of the problem in the music business for artists is that it's, you know, now especially with Facebook, it's all about how many likes do you have, how many people like you, and that's a very dangerous emotional game to play, because we all deal with that. I don't care who you are, you got to deal on a daily basis, you know, trying not to worry what other people think. That's a very difficult. We all deal with that.
That's very difficult.
And in the music business, it's hard because what people think actually has an influence on your career. And I think I spent a lot of time in my early years being worried about, where do I fit in the music industry? Do they like me? You know, how do I make a record that people will like? And I quit doing that a while ago. And the last several years, and especially this record, were kind of like, I don't care if anybody likes me. Like, I love this music, and I feel good when I play it. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life. Like, I don't really care what the music business thinks. I just want to go out and play my music.
Okay. Mrs. Bonnie Bishop, thank you for your story. Thank you for this opportunity.
Sorry for all my cuss words.
No. I'm
from Texas.
Have a good time in Holland, because you're going to Borger, to Eindhoven, to Bergen-op-Zoom, and please visit Belgium. Yeah. Because we have the better beer.
I would love to. Maybe you can help me get a show in Belgium next time. I would love that.
Yes, why not? We'll help you.
I would
wherever we can.
All right.
Thank you a lot,
so
Danny.
Nice
Thank
to
you a lot.
meet you.